Okay, now name 3 things that men are better at than women.
I guess hiding their emotions.
Guys are kind of more pressured to be the built guy, you know?
But I know you guys have a bigger brain.
What? What up? It's your boy, Dad Drizzle, and welcome to the first ever video episode, I don't know, of Rationally Offensive, where we take, offensive topics and we add truth to them, okay? And I don't really know what I'm what I'm doing, but I just want to make this very clear. This isn't for people who, well, easily get offended by it. 20 years ago, this was something that was commonplace, but now it's kind of a lost art. So we definitely have to do our part to remind people, like, hey, this is the truth, people. Hello. Like the rule on this channel, if you are new here, it's the same thing as my podcast. You can only use facts, statistics, and experiences that you have, not what you witnessed, but the same thing that you have. You cannot create what if fictitious scenarios. Like, we don't operate on extremes. We operate on mean, median, and mode. If you remember something like that from high school, if you remember, we operate on what is the mean of it. What's the mass of people? What can we gather? And the one thing that I cannot do on this channel is give my opinion. I'll do it from time to time, but I cannot give my opinion on any subject matter. I can only use facts or my experience. That is it. So if people want to go ahead and debate, well, it wasn't my opinion. It's history. So if you read the actual title of the video, you'll know that the subject of today is titled, Men and Women Are Not Equal. Ooh, I'm offended. But they're facts. But I'm just going to go ahead and talk about that today because, YOLO. And if you want the full access to the entirety of this video, because I'm going to actually hold off some stuff because I've decided, hey, I'm going to make a Ko-Fi or whatever. Just don't buy me coffee. You can buy me coffee, but don't buy me coffee. Just there's a donate and a subscribe. And when you do that, you actually get access to the full video, which will allow you to see interactions between random people and all that other jazz. But let's dive into the subject first. Men and women aren't equal because you can just take an observational truth behind it just by walking outside. Let's take it from a biological standpoint. On the grander scale, the one thing that we shouldn't do is operate on extremes. That's the one thing that we shouldn't do. We should operate on what's naturally understood by the majority. And everyone can understand, biological differences. We're built different because we complement each other. The one thing that we aren't are just completely the same. There's no are you kidding me? If I were to stand next to the average woman, I will be taller, I will have more muscle mass, I'll be bigger. It's clearly understood that men think one way and women think another way. Men think more primarily on the logical scale, so they're able to understand the things around them on a hunter-gatherer kind of idea. But when it comes to the emotional kind of thing, they kind of suck. They suck at connecting on personal levels. It's possible, but by and large, it doesn't come naturally. Now with women, that emotional part comes naturally. It comes to them, and they're able to connect with people and respond and raise their kids to be someone who looks out for others and has that emotional input. The logic, however, is, they're not very logical. Most people think when they hear this, they're just like, oh, you're just suppressing women, and they operate on the sea level. But when you go underneath and you actually cast your rod out and give me specifics, that's when it starts to fall flat. And a lot of times that falls flat when you ask them, what are 3 things that women are better at than men? And they give you a laundry list. But when it comes reversed, when you're just like, hey, what are 3 things that men are better at than women? They struggle. And it's especially a thing, here in the East Bay in California. It's an awful thing. It's just rampant. People are delusional delusional to what's actually in front of them. I am taller than you. I am stronger than you. That is not a false statement. I'm literally carrying more than you. I'm bigger than you on a biological scale. If we're talking about other scales, if you're talking about careers, there's certain careers where women don't want to take as many risks. If you look at the Bureau for Labor and Statistics points it out, 10%, less than 10% of women are in the STEM portion of things. That means things like coal mining and plumbing and things like that, infrastructure wise. They're not willing to take those high risk jobs. Those high risk jobs, the fatality rate is pretty darn high. So, but men are willing to do that because they're not afraid and they're okay with these kinds of things. Mentally, we operate at a different level. And if you want to use that same old excuse like, hey, women use 100% of their brain. No, we all use our brain in a little bit of a different capacity. Well, Drizzle, when compared in the relationship, women contribute so much more. All right, let's be honest about that kind of statement. When it comes to contributions, that's a completely different subject, and I'll actually tackle a certain subject like that in a later video. But when it comes to something like this, you need to understand, you can look up this data. You can look up this data for yourself. The CDC, National Health Organization, points it out that men are generally born weighing more, built more. They have the maturity rate, however, on women is much faster. You won't get that in a man. It's much faster with women. Hence why, once they're in the 30s and 40s, they seem less appealing to men, to the average Joe. But the point is that they mature more rather than men themselves. So that's something to think about. But this is just a simple subject, a little something average for people to kind of get introduced to towards this channel. And I thought I'd just started out with this. And if you have any ideas, leave them in the comments. But the one thing that I'm going to do is actually go to random worlds and actually challenge people on this. This is going to be interesting. And one thing I want to do first is challenge my boy here. I don't know if they want to remain anonymous, but there's you need to be a different model. You need to be bigger than that. I got to be able to practice this with you, and you're going to be the guinea pig. Why don't you go ahead, tell me your thoughts on the matter. If you could name 3 things that women are better at than men, what would that be?
I could tell you this. One of the things I think art in gardening and
Okay.
Well,
one more.
It's actually no.
Okay, name 3 things that men are better at than women. Name 3 things that men are better at than women. Hello. I'll do you next. Hold on. This is bad. This is bad. This isn't good. There's something wrong with this generation. All right, no, move out of the way. No, you had your turn. Now it's Dunkin' Donuts' turn. The subject matter was that men and women are not equal, and you can take that in a multitude of ways. And I believe you were there for one of them as well. But I just kind of want some manly perspectives on this and see if we can get an objective view on this. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. I don't know. The last one was kind of weird. Tell me 3 things that women are better at than men.
Well, men and women are pretty much good at pretty much a lot of things, and I can't really think of anything that states out. Well, having a child.
Let's think biologically. Let's think there, because everyone can understand the human body. So let's start there. So what are 3 biological things women are naturally better at than men?
Taking care of a child, feeding a child, and I can't think of a third one.
Okay. Here's one. Being able to handle things on a more emotional scale than a logical scale. Okay, now name 3 things that men are better at than women.
Anything that results in strength, like heavy lifting.
Okay. You got 2 more?
Well, naturally men are good. Unless you're born into a bodybuilding family, and a woman can be strong as a man. I'm thinking in other terms here.
Okay, yeah, it's...
So another thing a man is good at, well, working on a home.
So, like construction, you'd say, like things like that, like building things. Okay, one more.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything that won't be offensive.
No, that is the whole point of this channel. That is the whole point.
Well,
is to be
They know how
truthful.
to
Who
give
cares how people feel? Facts are facts.
They know how to give the baby batter, if you know what I mean.
Heard it here, folks. He's talking about giving baby batter. This turned out to be a lot different than I expected. The one thing I won't deny that stuff like that is true. The one thing that we shouldn't operate on is extremes. We don't want to operate on the fact that, hey, you know, women can do this. Yeah, they can, but let's speak for the mean median mode, the masses. The masses, the majority rule points it out. If we're talking about strength-wise, women right here, men right here. So, but when it comes to being able to connect with a child, men here, women here. There's a balance. We should find some random people to actually ask these questions to. I don't know if my computer can handle this. Oh, look, my camera's still going. Come here, come hither, woman. Standeth right hither. The younger audience is a bit different. This video was kind of an experimental piece of work, so I have no idea how it turns out, but you can understand that there are clear differences between men and women when it comes to physical attributes, when it comes to the labor force, and when it comes to mental and willingness. There are definitely clear differences. It's my first time kind of putting this on my second channel, but let's give it a try and make sure that everybody's informed. It says in 2 Chronicles 15:7, but you be strong and do not let your hands be weak, for your work shall be rewarded. So me putting in this kind of work to kind of show people what they can do in terms of producing content or trying out something new. Hey, this is the first for me. I know this channel is going to be very risky, and I'm going to get demonetized in about a month. And that's perfectly fine by me, as long as I can give you guys the tools and the information on how to handle situations, even in situations like this, where it's about, you know, understanding that men and women aren't equal. They're not. We're totally different, but we complement each other. Anyway, I hope all of this was very informative to you. If you want the full context of the video, go down in the description, check out the Ko-Fi. You do the whole membership thing there. This video is sponsored by HBO, help a brother out. So if you want to help me out, then you can go ahead and go into Ko-Fi to get more full unlocked interviews with people talking about very touchy subjects. Other than that, your boy Dad Drizzle. We'll see you in another video. These backflipping dudes behind me.
See ya.
Oh.